ஹார்மனி அடுக்குமாடி குடியிருப்புகளின் மொத்த நிலப்பரப்பு சுமார் 11.6 கிரவுண்ட். இந்த நிலப்பரப்பளவில் உயர் மாடி கட்டிடம் கட்ட முடியும். நிலப்பரப்பு குறைவாக இருந்திருந்தால் இங்கே உயர் மாடி கட்டிடம் கட்ட முடியாது. சென்னை மாநகரில் உயர் மாடி கட்டிடம் கட்டுவதற்கு இடவசதி இல்லாததால் உயர் மாடி கட்டிடங்கள் சென்னை மாநகரில் அல்லாமல் நகரின் சுற்றுவட்டாரத்தில்தான் கட்டப்பட்டு வருகின்றன. சென்னையில் MSB கட்டப்பட்ட சில இடங்கள் இங்கே குறிப்பிடப்பட்டுள்ளன. பெரும்பாலான MSB கட்டிடங்கள் சென்னை நகரத்திற்கு வெளியே உள்ளன. ஏனெனில் MSB கட்டிடத்திற்கு தேவையான நில அளவு சென்னையில் குறைவு. சென்னை நகரின் ரியல் எஸ்டேட் சந்தையானது கடந்த கால உள்கட்டமைப்பு கவலைகளை முறியடித்து உயரமான கட்டுமானத்திற்கு வேகமாக மாறி வருகிறது. உயரமான கட்டிடங்கள், இயற்கை ஒளி, மேம்படுத்தப்பட்ட காற்றோட்டம் மற்றும் ஒட்டுமொத்த வாழ்க்கை அனுபவத்தை மேம்படுத்துகிறது. MSB கட்டுமானத்தில் நிபுணத்துவம் மற்றும் அனுபவம் கொண்ட பில்டர் மற்றும் வலுவான நிதி வலிமை கொண்ட பில்டர் பொதுவாக MSB-ஐ விரும்புவார்கள். ஏனெனில் விசாலமான கட்டுமானத்தின் சொத்து மதிப்பு எப்போதும் ஒரு நன்மையாக இருக்கும்.
A professional takes pride in his profession and always aims to be the best. Reminded of an old verse taught in school. If I were a cobbler, it would be my pride, the best of all cobblers to be. If I were a tinker, no tinker beside me should mend an old kettle like me. Let's select a professional builder who can deliver the best to us, like, as they say, Harmony apartments cannot be rebuilt again.
செய்வானை நாடி, வினை நாடி, காலத்தோடு எய்த உணர்ந்து செயல். செயலாற்ற வல்லவனைத் தேர்ந்து, செய்யப்பட வேண்டிய செயலையும் ஆராய்ந்த, காலம் உணர்ந்து அதனைச் செயல்படுத்த வேண்டும்.
The FSI calculations. One of the general points of discussion is the FSI calculations.
Floor Space Index for Indian cities.
Floor space index is a measure of the total permissible construction area on a given plot of land. The permissible FSI in Chennai varies based on the location and type of construction. For residential buildings, the FSI is generally lower compared to commercial buildings. The Chennai Metropolitan Development Authority has set the FSI for residential buildings at 1.5 to 2 in most areas.
FSI, or Floor Space Index, is a measure of the total permissible construction area on a given plot of land. It is a ratio of the total built-up area of all floors in a building to the total area of the plot. The total land extent available for redevelopment is quoted as about 80,000 SFT by builders. The final area will be declared by CMDA after the builder submits the relevant land documents, and it is most likely to be around the same area quoted by builders. Efficiency in space can be managed only in common area defined in the CMDA rules.
Key points to remember. According to Tamil Nadu RERA regulations, areas like staircases, utility spaces, and certain common areas are typically excluded from the FSI calculation, meaning they are not counted towards the total floor area allowed on a plot of land. Essentially, these areas are not included in the calculation when determining the permissible building area on a property. Areas excluded from FSI. This generally includes spaces like staircases, lift shafts, corridors, and sometimes even common areas like balconies, depending on specific regulations. Importance of checking specific regulations. While the general principle of excluding certain areas from FSI applies, the exact details of what is included or excluded can vary based on the local development authority and building. Areas not covered under FSI. This can be planned spacious in AMSB, to make the common area more spacious for a comfortable living.
சென்னையில் உள்ள உயர்மட்ட கட்டுமானங்களுக்கு FSI 2 ஆகும். FSI விதி விலக்குகள். சென்னையில் FSI கணக்கீட்டில் செய்யப்பட்ட விதி விலக்குகள் இதோ. படிக்கட்டுகள், படிக்கட்டு அறைகள், லிப் அறைகள், லிப் ஷாஃப்ட்கள், தாழ்வாரங்கள் போன்ற பொதுவான பகுதிகள், செக்யூரிட்டி கார்டு, அதாவது காவலாளி அறை, பார்க்கிங்கிற்காக ஒதுக்கப்பட்ட அடித்தள பகுதியின் மொத்த அளவு, பார்க்கிங் தளங்களில் லிஃப்ட், படிக்கட்டுகள் மற்றும் நடைபாதைகள், உயர்த்தப்பட்ட தொட்டிகள், வாட்டர் டேங்க் ஆகியவை FSI கணக்கீட்டில் செய்யப்பட்ட விதிவிலக்கு. கட்டிடம் ஸ்டில்ட்களில் இருந்தால் அதை மூடக்கூடாது, இல்லையெனில் அது FSI தர நிலைகளால் தகுதி பெறும். இதன்படி ஸ்டில்ட் தரையில் உள்ள கணைகள் FSI-க்கு எடுத்துக்கொள்ளப்படும். பில்டர் FSI விதிகளில் உள்ள சலுகையை திறம்பட பயன்படுத்தி பரந்த தாழ்வாரங்கள், பரந்த பாதைகள், பரந்த லாபிகள், லிப் இடம், லிப் தரையிறங்கும் இடம், செக்யூரிட்டி அறை, அசோசியேஷன் அறை, ஜெனரேட்டர் அறை ஆகியவற்றை வழங்க வேண்டும். ஒரு மாடியில் 14 குடியிருப்புகளை உருவாக்குவதால் பரந்த தாழ்வாரங்கள், பரந்த பாதைகள், பரந்த லாபிகள், லிப் இடம், லிப் தரையிறங்கும் இடம் மற்றும் செக்யூரிட்டி அறை, அசோசியேஷன் அறை, ஜெனரேட்டர் அறை ஆகியவற்றுக்கு அதிக இடத்தை விட முடியாது. ஒரு தளத்தில் 8 பிளாட்டுகள் மட்டுமே இருந்தால் அனைத்து காமன் ஏரியா பயன்பாடுகளுக்கும் விசாலமான திட்டமிடல் சாத்தியமாகும். Schematic diagram: 9 flats per floor versus 14 flats per floor. The common areas are more spacious in the MSB, thus avoiding a claustrophobic living and making a spacious living possible. இப்போது ஹார்மனி அபார்ட்மெண்ட்ஸ் கட்டிடத்தில் தரை தளம், முதல் தளம், இரண்டாம் தளம், மூன்றாம் தளம் ஆகிய ஒவ்வொரு தளத்திலும் 12 குடியிருப்புகள் உள்ளன. கட்டிடத்தில் உள்ள மொத்த குடியிருப்புகள் 48. After rebuilding, தரை தளம், முதல் தளம், இரண்டாம் தளம், மூன்றாம் தளம், நான்காவது தளம், ஐந்தாம் தளம் ஆகிய ஒவ்வொரு தளத்திலும் 14 குடியிருப்புகள் கட்டப்படும். கட்டிடத்தில் உள்ள மொத்த குடியிருப்புகளின் எண்ணிக்கை 70ஆக அதிகரிக்கப்படும். ஒரு மாடி குடியிருப்புகளின் எண்ணிக்கை 12லிருந்து 14ஆக உயர்த்தப்படும். இதனால் என்ன பயன்? ஒரு தளத்திற்கு 9 பிளாட் வசதியாக இருக்குமா அல்லது ஒரு தளத்திற்கு 14 பிளாட் வசதியாக இருக்குமா? இது ஒரு முக்கியமான முடிவு. கவனமாக பரிசீலித்த பின்னரே முடிவு எடுக்கப்பட வேண்டும். தூங்குக தூங்கிச் செயற்பால தூங்கற்க தூங்காது செய்யும் வினை.
Delay where delay is needed, but do not delay when you must act.
Do not delay when you must act. Building construction, a close look. For stilt plus 8 floors, with setback as prescribed by CMDA, builder can go up to 30 meters height, which means 3 meters, floor-to-floor height. This is a good height for MSB. Why should the owners not take full advantage of the permissible provisions allowed as per CMDA rules? Why should we settle for 5 floors? As mentioned earlier, our land area is eligible for high-rise building. As already noted, constructing 8 floors is a costly proposition for the builder, yet when full advantage is given, why should it be rejected by owners? Can the 5-story building be changed to 8-story building later?
To put it simply, why should a Nano be accepted when a Mercedes is offered? Why should a half pant be preferred when a better design is offered? Can the 5-story be changed to 9-story building? Foundation is the structural base of a building that supports the entire weight of the building and transfers loads to the ground. Foundation ensures stability, prevents settlement, and protects against environmental forces. Shallow foundations are generally used for non-MSB building. Shallow foundations are roughly 1 to 3 meters in depth. As expected, they don't distribute loads far into the ground. For this reason, they tend to cost less than deep foundations as they require less labor and resources to implement. Ramanium has planned for deep foundation, pile foundation for structural stability. In a building of similar size, 90,000 land extent, about 210 piles were erected.
The area calculations. Builders had zeroed down to 80,000 SFT after submitting a few proposals with differing figures. FSI calculations and total built-up area are factor-based calculations and is decided by CMDA as discussed earlier. Area calculation shown in the chart is more of the distribution of the 80,000 SFT shown above as per builder's share and owner's share, a proportion to the present area held as per sale deed. The final area calculation is arrived after the CMDA sanctions FSI etc. Generally, the total area sanctioned by CMDA after FSI approval is slightly higher, and the higher area sanctioned by CMDA is distributed as per the sharing ratio, which results in slight increase in plinth and carpet area. Traditionally, a simple formula has been used to calculate the carpet area, which is carpet area is equal to bedroom plus living room plus kitchen plus balconies plus toilets minus inner wall thickness. As per the RERA Act of 2016, the RERA carpet area formula is RERA carpet area is equal to net usable area of the apartment, excluding external walls, terrace, balcony and veranda, plus internal partition wall areas. There is a 5% difference between the general carpet area and the RERA carpet area.
Building height issues has been discussed. The immediate response was maintenance cost would be high. This is discussed next.
But let us remember, we want lifts. We want security equipment like CCTV. We want video doorbell. We want fire hydrant. We want two gates with security for both the gates. We want pest control services monthly. Definitely this will have a slight impact on the maintenance charges. Also, solar panel maintenance might have a slight impact on the maintenance cost. Now, let us look at a typical maintenance structure.
Typical maintenance charges.
MSB proposal. Builder has offered single tower building, only 9 flats per floor. Each flat an independent unit with no common walls, spacious covered car parking, spacious visitors car parking, 10 car parking for shops, two-wheeler parking, spacious pathway for vehicle movement. Association room cum multipurpose hall, security room with toilet, to lifts of 10 to 13 passenger capacity, to staircases. Fire hydrant as per the CMDA rules. Water harvesting.
Naturally, the cost of construction would be higher for the MSB. The CMDA approval for MSB, and fees for various approvals and services would also be higher. The comparison of MSB versus HRB has hence been deflected to maintenance cost.
This is being dealt with next.
The highlights of the offer include strong pile foundation, 9 flats per floor, spacious living versus claustrophobic living. Flats with independent walls versus common walls and flats, parking for owners, shopkeepers, visitors, and two-wheelers, facilities like association room, security room, generator room, electrical room, etc., and a modern-look building. All these benefits have been listed in the presentation. A right decision should be taken.
Schematic diagram, 9 flats per floor versus 14 flats per floor.
Flat maintenance charges.
Apartment owners pay maintenance charges to ensure a functional, safe, and well-maintained living environment. Maintenance charges usually cover security services, including security guards and CCTV monitoring, etc., housekeeping and maintenance of common areas like lifts, corridors and staircase, etc. Upkeep and general maintenance of shared infrastructure such as common lights, CCTV, solar panels, pumps, motors, and services such as pest control, etc., AMC service for lifts, fire equipment, power generators, etc. as per government regulations. Electricity charges and water charges for common areas in the building. contingency fund and reserve fund for future and more. A sample working sheet of expenses of a MSB is shown here. Figures are only indicative. The general expenses incurred by an MSB association. Associations sometimes do cost cutting in maintenance expenses if some items are felt not necessary. Resident Welfare Associations, RWAs, ensure transparency and fairness while finalizing flat maintenance charges. The maintenance charges is fixed by the association and is guided by the bylaws of the association. The maintenance expenses is published every month and shared with the owners and residents via WhatsApp. Review of maintenance, when necessitated due to increase in wages or upkeep expenses etc., is done by the association in the AGM held annually or in EGM called by the association when necessary. Association meeting is held once a quarter and matters concerning the association are discussed. Annual audit of accounts is done by an auditor and published. Annual accounts is circulated in the AGM and review of maintenance, when necessitated due to increase in wages, upkeep expenses etc., is done by the association in the AGM. Association can also call for an EGM when necessary. Volunteers who wish to offer services can convey the same in the AGM, EGM or quarterly meetings. The member shall be required to pay their maintenance charges on time, that is by 5th of the following month. If a member does not pay the maintenance charges on time, association can charge late payment fee as per by law of the association on the outstanding dues, from the date the amount was due, till full and final payment of maintenance charges. GST on apartment maintenance charges. GST is applicable only if the maintenance charges exceeds Rs 7,500 per month per flat. Issues generally encountered. Irregular payments. Delays in paying maintenance charges of flats can disrupt the smooth functioning of housing societies. Escalating costs. Rising labor costs, inflation in service charges and maintenance material may contribute to higher charges in the future years. Cost saving by RWA, implementing energy-saving measures like using solar panels, LED lighting to lower electricity bills. Regular maintenance, audits, and periodic check of equipments of common use generally prevents major breakdowns. Optimizing staff allocation and effective monitoring of housekeeping and security staff is important. Monitoring water usage in common utilities should be ensured to manage costs. Renegotiating service contracts for cleaning, security, and other services will help bringing down costs, impacting the overall maintenance charges of flats. Understanding energy efficiency levels of different lift types. The energy consumption of an elevator can vary significantly based on its design and other factors. Read along to delve into different elevator types in terms of energy use.
Hydraulic elevators. Higher energy costs. Hydraulic elevators were widely used over the past few decades in smaller buildings with fewer stories. They tend to be less energy efficient than other types of elevators. A hydraulic lift in a 3-story building, for instance, may consume up to 4,000 kilowatt-hours of electricity per year. This varies based on factors such as use frequency and the modernity of the elevator. However, under the same operating conditions, the energy usage of a hydraulic system is typically higher than that of other lift types. Traction elevators, leading the way in efficiency. Traction elevators are a highly energy-efficient solution. In a typical 6-story building, a traction elevator might consume approximately 3,000 kilowatt-hours annually, which is significantly lower compared to other elevator types. This efficiency is due to the use of a counterweight system to move the elevator cabin up and down. In contrast, hydraulic elevators operate by pumping hydraulic fluid into cylinders to move the cabin, which reduces their energy efficiency.
We have moved from the sachet age and nano age. The strongest part of a high-rise building? The foundation is typically the strongest part of a building as it holds up the weight of the structure. Foundations are usually made from a stone or concrete component, which is high strength.
The highlights of the offer include strong pile foundation, 9 flats per floor, spacious living versus claustrophobic living. Flats with independent walls versus common walls and flats, parking for owners, shopkeepers, visitors, and two-wheelers, facilities like association room, security room, generator room, electrical room, etc., and a modern-look building. All these benefits have been listed in the presentation. Should the building be insured? Fire and burglary insurance. The association can decide it later if required.
Formation of association. The association of allottees shall be formed, registered and governed by the provisions contained in the Tamil Nadu Apartment Ownership Act, 1994, and the applicable rules for the time being in force. The association shall take over the maintenance of the project including the common areas and amenities provided in the project within 3 months from the date of intimation by the promoter upon completion of the project. முடிவும் இடையூறும் முற்றியாங்கு எய்தும்படுபயனும் பார்த்துச் செயல். செயலின் முடிவைப் பற்றியும் இடையில் வரும் இடையூறுகளைப் பற்றியும் முடித்த பின் அடையும் பெரும்பயனையும் ஆராய்ந்தே ஒரு செயலைச் செய்தல் வேண்டாம். Don't be shortchanged. The frustration and the feeling that one has been shortchanged stays for far too long, for life. Other points to note.
Supreme Court says property ownership only on registration of sale deed.
In a recent property case decision, the Supreme Court ruled that ownership of immovable property is transferred only upon the registration of the sale deed. The court emphasized that merely taking possession of a property does not confer ownership. A bench headed by Justice B.V. Nagratna of the Supreme Court said in its decision that, as per the provision of Section 54 of the Transfer of Property Act of 1882, property transfer can be done only through registered documents.